Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and we are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. We're also sponsored as this is the warm-up by Triple Point Brewery. Thank you to them for their support, continued support of the Ramble. We've got a lot to get through in our half-an-hour window, and I'm determined to keep it down to a half-an-hour window. I do tend to ramble. There is a link as to why the channel's called what it is. The most important thing to first address is the Sheffield United Way boys have kindly set up a GoFundMe page to donate towards Johnny Gascoigne's funeral, Johnny from the Shore and View. If anybody's interested, I've put that link in down below in donating. Obviously, no pressure on anybody to give anything, but any contributions are greatly appreciated, and we all know that people will be thinking about Johnny for the foreseeable, obviously, and very sad what's happened there. But Johnny would not want me to dwell on that. So that's there if anybody's willing and able to contribute. Thank you to anybody that is. On a bright note for our channel, we have been nominated again for the Football Content Awards. A brilliant and welcome surprise. So thank you to all those that nominated us. We've made the shortlist of finalists, and last year we got the Bronze Award, a national award, which is unbelievable, for Best New Content Creator. And it's still a bit mind-blowing, to be honest. But we've been we're finalists again in a very tough category with our very own Blades pod as well. I'm a big fan of Roy, so fair play to them for being in the category as well. But we are also in for Best Football League Podcast. Are we a podcast? Well, funny you should ask, actually. Thank you for asking that question. Very shortly, and I mean imminently, and I mean as imminent as maybe even this episode, you'll be able to catch us on all podcast networks. I can't guarantee that it'll definitely be in place for this episode, but on all audio platforms, Spotify, Amazon, wherever else, Apple, whatever it is. As you can see, I'm not the most polished with that sort of terminology, but I'll get there. You know what I'm like. So if anybody would like to vote for the Ramble, I've made it as simple as I can. And underneath the top priority, which is Johnny, the second link in the description is to vote for the Ramble. All you have to do is click on the link that I've posted to vote for the Ramble and type in. It takes you through to the Instagram page where we're all the shortlisted nominees are. And if you at Blades Ramble comment on that at Blades Ramble, then that will be registered as a vote for us. So thank you if that's something that you are wanting to do for us. Now, on to Sheffield United business. I'm a little bit narked, to be honest. I'm a little bit annoyed. This takeover business is doing my head in. I can't. It's difficult because I'm hearing little bits and bats, and I don't want to step over the mark without knowing all the details. I can only go off little bits that I hear. You know that I've got some people very close to the club that I talk to regularly, and I trust, and they trust me in terms of what I can and what I won't, what I'm able to release into the public. But you know, we always want to be first at breaking any news that comes out. But with these sort of things, I'm a little bit wary, that's all. So, long and short of it, I'm dancing around the houses, but this has been dragging on for ages now, this takeover. Absolutely ages. And my immediate thoughts, and when we've been chatting in Ramblers group and things like that, and people are asking for updates, there's no major rush now that the window's shut, because it doesn't necessarily affect anything on the pitch until January time, when we'd be making changes if there was new investment to come into the club. The latest is it's now looking unlikely to go through, and I get that information from couple of areas, if I'm honest. But also, Darren's been posting on Twitter today. Darren Smith, who is also very close to the club. People have been asking him today, is the takeover still a possibility? I've given up on it, to be honest. That's from Scholar Rob. Not looking likely, but it's not dead yet, says Darren. Are we financially okay if it doesn't go through? Are we okay for an attempt at getting promoted? Or does the family silver get auctioned off in January? And Darren said, we've got the funds to commit to the 2 loans in January. I don't think... As long as we don't sell the family jewels in January, which I don't think we will, unless we get an absolutely unbelievable offer. We can't sell Gus Hamer and we can't sell Ollie Arblaster this season if we're going to have a proper go at promotion. I think we need to keep all our star players. That's been just as important, including Anel, including Vinny Souza. That's been just as important as the fantastic additions that we've made. I actually think this team is good enough to get promoted. The one area that we struggle with is depth. And I think we've all acknowledged that. But when you talk to people that know this stuff about the game as well, informed opinions like Dave Leary, Man Mountain, all the Ramblers chats that we have, we've got Ramblers exclusive stuff, and we've got people like Jamie and Liam coming on now to join us for those discussions that we have in our exclusive content. And everybody makes valid points in terms of we've got a fluid squad, you know, because Sam McCallum could play left wing if Gus goes down with an injury or something. Harrison Burrows could go left wing. That's one example. But if Harry Suter gets injured, then Anel moves across and Jack Robinson comes in. If Alfie Gilchrist goes down, we've got Shackleton that can go there. We've now got Sariki who's coming through. It's not like we've got an abundance of talent that we're rich in depth, but we're not actually as thin as you think. We've got Brewster and Campbell behind Kiefer Moore, and you think, well, that's not great, but or you may think it's all right. I don't think in terms of quantity, we struggle much there. I think it's the quality level that people are concerned with, and Ty Campbell may come good. He's had a stop-start time with injury. He's not been a regular goal scorer, and to be a lone striker up front is one of the hardest jobs in football, I think. And Kiefer Moore's getting stick because he's doing everything apart from putting it in back at net, and I understand it. But I'm just a bit frustrated in terms of, I think the squad is very good, and I think we'll only need, we might not even need both loans, to be honest, but if we can keep the majority of players fit, our first 11's as good as anybody in this division, and we might not need massive backing in January to get over the line or continue our push. So I'm not overly concerned if they haven't got a load of money. What I can tell you is this stalling is not from Sheffield United's end, and I can tell you that categorically. And my worry here is if they are reluctant, as rumoured, to be putting up guarantees for Sheffield United should we not be promoted, then if they're struggling to come up with that or unwilling to come up with that, then how much are they actually willing to commit to us? Is it a case of they only really want us if we're guaranteed promotion? Can't do that. You're either all in or you're not. And I understand. I don't expect anybody to have the love of Sheffield United like we do. It's going to be a business transaction for them. But if you were buying a guaranteed Premier League team next year, you wouldn't be paying what you're paying for it. You know, you could go in and join the bartering at Everton or wherever it might be because they come at a premium. You either poop or get off the pot, I think is the polite way to put it. And it's just starting to rile me a little bit. And I'll be honest, and I am biased. I don't try and hide that, but I'm leaning towards, I really hope, selfishly, for Sheffield United, because I think it's, a lot of people are calling it better the devil, you know. But I think we're better off cutting ties, seeing how we get on. And look, Prince Abdullah needs support. If Prince Abdullah's going to stay, he needs investment, whether that's a full takeover or part investment. It's a given that if we are to make the step up another level as a football club, that doesn't mean necessarily promote. Obviously, promotion has to be part of that. But if we're going to have a real go at staying up and building ourselves into a Premier League side, we need more investment than the Prince is able to give. But for me, it's just a little bit, well, it's very frustrating at the minute about what's going on with these Americans. I think that the chances at the minute, and that's just my impression. Nobody at the club is going to say that, and I don't expect them to say anything like that. But I will, because I'm not. It's our club, you know. You can't dangle. It's like, you know, a pretty girl at the dance or whatever you call it, fluttering her eyelashes at you. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. If you're coming in and you want to have a dance, then kick off your heels and let's go for it. Anyway, I'll get some comments and then we'll get into our Pompey prep. So Chris says, evening, Jim and Ramblers. Can't see any reason to change unless our blaster is fit. I think he gives us more creativity, although Peck has shown he can hold his own in the middle. Up the blades, up the Ramble. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I agree. Our blaster, I agree in so much as if our blaster's fit, he comes back in. I don't think he will be. Just from what I'm hearing, I don't think he will be. Take that with a pinch of salt, because I'm not going to get the inside scoop from Chrissy Wilder, am I? So he will know. He'll want to play his cards close to his chest. Why would we give our opponents a one-up on us? But for me, if our blaster's anywhere near fit, he comes in. I think he's going to be out. We just need him back for Leeds, for me. I think he'll be out until the international break, unfortunately. Peck, rightly said, Chris, certainly did hold his own. And I think that performance at Bramall Lane, it's not always as easy going away from home, is it? But I think that performance at Bramall Lane should give him every confidence in keeping his shirt in the team. I've got a slightly different tweak, which won't surprise many of you that often watch the warm-up, but we'll see if you agree with me or not. Takeover, says GT. I know. I've just had a bit of a rant about it, pal. I don't think we'll make any changes, says Jack. I'm banking on more scoring. 2-0 again. Yeah, I'd like Kiefer to get a goal. Just eases things for him a little bit, doesn't it? Evening, Jimmy. Confident of a 2-0 win this weekend. Up the blades, up the Ramble, says Andrew. It's tough, you know this. I mean, we'll talk about Portsmouth in a minute, because I've got a view from other side as well, from 4-0 written all over it. Evening, Jimmy, says Ian. Got that feeling that something special is building. Me too, pal. 3-0. 3-0 to the Blades. I tell you what, I'm taking a 1-0 all day long. Oh, of course, and I know we all would, but I don't think it's going to be. I mean, we beat Derby 1-0 at home. And I do feel I'm on the same wavelength as somebody that I think we will give somebody a spanking somewhere along the line, but I'm not sure. Portsmouth with a really good young manager. Yeah, they haven't started brilliantly, but you look at what they did against Leeds. I thought they held their own really well. I don't think it'd be easy. Gus, Raksaki and Brewster with one from the bench. I tell you what, I commend your loyalty, and I must say he's a huge Brewster supporter, and more power to you, pal. Up the blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe from the gatekeeper, Ian. Shoreham Boys says, though, I thought City Peck played brilliantly against Derby and was unlucky not to score at the end. I would 100% have him in if Blaster isn't fit. Me too, pal. Evening, Jimmy. Confident of a 2-0 win this weekend. It's nice to be confident again, says Andrew. Up the blades, up the Ramble. It is, isn't it? It's nice to be enjoying a season again. And I know there's always little things that we're moaning about and we're picking fault in this, that, and other, but it's only because, you know, we like to moan, don't we, as Blades? But overall, what a brilliant start to the season. Evening, Jim, says Aaron. I'll take another 1-0 win against Pompey. Decent side. Me too, pal. Hopefully more gets on the score sheet. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Hi, Jimmy. Want to say how surprised I am with how quickly the negativity has shifted around the gaffer, and now not all the fans are behind these lads, and most importantly, they back themselves. I think Chris Wilder's done a brilliant job in turning the fan base around. In a lot of us, me included, were automatically willing to give him another chance. I feel like we owe it to him, or I certainly felt like I owed it to him for what he'd given us in the past, that you have to allow him a second chance. Other Blades weren't as forthcoming, and that's absolutely all right as well. Some will still yet to be convinced, but he can't do much more at minute, can he? He can't do much more. You're starting to hear one of our own chants again. I love that. Chrissy Wilder and Ellen Neal song coming out again. Love that. It feels like it's building, doesn't it? Like Ian said earlier. Evening, Jim, says Dublin Blade back home now after my break. Still on work this mouse out with sensitivity. I'm flying all over the place. Back home now after my break in the US of A. Oh, very good, pal. Hope you've had a good time. Going 0-2 for them Blades. Be a tough game, but winnable. 2 cave trolls to score. Big Keith and Suits. Nice. Chris says, I was asked the question the other day, do Pigs do the double or win? Do the Pigs double or win promotion? Of course it's promotion, but what a nightmare that would be, them doing the double. Rest in peace, Johnny. Surely not. Surely not. Surely that's not even a consideration that they'll do double over us. Like, I'm not even worried about that game until it's coming closer. Can't. Already voted. Thank you, pal. Evening all, says Danny. Good evening, pal. Well done on the nomination. Thank you, Rob. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. The takeover is off my radar, says Ian, at the moment, because the football is good, so the mind is off it. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Looking forward to the trip Saturday. Proper club and fans. Should be a great atmosphere with a top away support. 2-0 Blades, up the Ramble. Nomination's awesome and well deserved. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that, mate. Evening, Jimmy and Prince Abdullah, says Dave. The nose, Leary. No score predictions from me for this game. Hopefully another 3 points on the march to misery. I mean, promotion to the promised land. Congrats on the nomination. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. Hope you're good, mate. The takeover, like I said before, smoke and mirrors. It's a real takeover, pal. I mean, there'll be more information comes out over the next week or two, from what I understand. And we'll hopefully be able to talk a lot more freely about it. It's a definite real thing with real names attached to it and things like that. But I just don't think. I'm just disappointed with how it's gone. Tire kickers does my head in. For me, I'd keep Prince Abdullah. He's been great for us, says the Saint. Don't sell out of desperation. Sell to the right man, or not at all. Absolutely right. The takeover doesn't happen if a Premier League club comes in for him or Arblaster. Will the club be in a position to fend off Premier League advances? I mean, I don't want to be saying no, of course. Of course we won't. There's a price for everybody, and we have to be aware of that. If somebody slaps 40 million quid down for Ollie Arblaster, who could get injured in November and be out for the season, we have to consider that. I think it's more likely that we'd consider a bid for Anel, who's out of contract in a couple of years, 18 months come January. I don't think we are bulletproof in terms of holding on to our assets. However, we certainly don't need to sell any of our assets. That's the position that we're in. So it's as strong a position as a self-sustaining club can expect to be in. Oh, here we go. Oh, my word. Look at this. Professional or what? That's my camera just died by the looks of it. Oh, well. Great. I think we stick with the same starting 11. We need to trust Tufty. And let's just be excited that we have some exciting talent to come on. Absolutely right, Ian. Bang on, mate. Jimmy, this takeover is 100% joke, says Neil. I agree, pal. Prince will be happy getting a third deposit of millions again. Not the case from what I understand. Not the case, unfortunately. If the takeover doesn't happen, you can kiss our players goodbye. Wrong, Jack. Don't worry about that, mate. Don't worry. I keep looking up there now, but your camera's off, so I'll look at it. No changes unless fitness or injuries dictate. Blaster will probably not see this side of the international break. I agree. Wilder's done a great job and deserves his plaudits, says Andy. Loving the renewed job he and his staff have done. Shut up, haters, up the Blades. I'd sell both if silly money comes in, says the Saint. But we got them both back on loan till the end of the season as part of the deal. It's not certainly not for Hamer, who's, somebody will be buying out a Blaster as a long-term investment, won't they? So if a top European side, even domestic European side, like an Arsenal comes in, there's a chance we are Blaster. But if somebody that buys Hamer is going to be more bottom end at Premier League, I think. I don't think it's going to happen anyway. I'm not too concerned about it. On Saturday, I wonder why Tufty took Alfie off, but he knew the talents of Femi. What do I know? Femi was awesome. I questioned it as well. I was a little bit concerned that Alfie seems to keep coming off at 60, 70 minutes. But somebody was saying he had strapping around his groin. So hopefully he's going to be fit for the weekend. I'm sure he will be. 100 million's a bargain for Sheffield United with his squad and fan base and a stadium fit for 50 years yet too. Absolutely right, pal. Prince wants to realise that he isn't Mr. Man City. He needs to offload all the other clubs. People will rightly put a fair argument about that. If you're spreading yourself so thinly, then is that affecting your ability to invest in the one club? And it's a very fair question to raise. I'm more than happy with what Prince Abdullah has achieved this season. On the perfect scenario for me is the Prince stays the owner, and I pray he can find some minority investors, but his loyalty is fantastic, says Mr. V. I hope Prince Abdullah cuts them loose. They're obviously not totally committed to buying the club, says Ray. Let's move on. But it's a good job the team are doing fantastic under Chris. If Brooks doesn't start, I'll be really surprised. Well, should we get into that? Shall we get into that? Because it's about time I asked him to. If I can find it. Ready, steady. What's your team? Brilliant Matilda Shakes, by the way, who support the channel with all the music that we've got related to the channel, our local band and Blades through and through. Matilda Shakes, shout out to the boys. Thank you for allowing us to use it, and hope they go from strength to strength as they have been doing so far. So this will be no surprise to anybody, but this is my team that I'm picking. I don't think it's the team that Wilder will pick, because ultimately it's the same team that started against Derby, other than I'm putting Andre Brooks in for Rak-Saki, and I think Wilder will keep Rak-Saki in. It's not anybody that watches the Ramble will know that it won't come as a surprise to anyone that I've done that, because I think you all know what I think about things at the moment. It's nothing against Rak-Saki. It's more a case of I don't know what Brooks has to do to get his shirt back. I don't think he's put a foot wrong, personally. So we'll see. And with us being away from home, maybe we want a little bit more of defensive solidity. Maybe he pops for Brooks. But I won't be surprised to see Rax. And I don't think we're any weaker necessarily if Rak-Saki plays either. I just think it's harsh on Brooks, personally. Tim says, as always, it seems I predict a goal for Brewster, 0-2. Takeover, if it happens, says Ian, it needs to be a better option than Prince Abdullah. This supposed takeover is not instilling confidence. No one can see where the top fella has got any money from Dozy 2.0. Not wrong with Dozy. Buys a lovely pint of Guinness. Prince Abdullah is the best owner in my lifetime, so let's hope he tells the Americans to poop or go. He can get some investors, so they can get some investors up the Ramble, up the Blades, up the Prince, the Poundland Prince. Is that what we're going for? Brewster should also be starting, in my opinion, because Moore just isn't for me. Yeah, you said that last time, didn't you, Beast Boy? That's fair enough, mate. I think there's a few people in our chat that agree that we're not really giving Brewster a fair crack. Would you keep Brewster? Would you offer him a new contract? I suppose that's a good question to ask. These boys will click soon. Rak-Saki, Callum O'Hare, and Harrison Burrows still to start banging them in, says Ian. I'd love that, mate. I'm with you, Jimmy. I think it's going to be a tough 1-0 fixture with another clean sheet and more to score. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. I think Jack says, I think we'll need to be on our A game. Even though they haven't won, they've pushed teams to the end, and if we're sloppy, we could be on the course. We could be the cause of our own downfall. Well, that's interesting, and I'd like to know a little bit more about Portsmouth. So here to tell us all about it is Tom.
Hello, Jimmy. Hope you're well. My name's Tom from FOR THE RAMBLE, and I'm going to be asking. I'm not going to be asking. You're the one asking. I'll be answering some of your questions. I would say pretty strong, considering what we were actually recruiting for in terms of transitioning from a League One winning outfit to a consolidation season in the Championship. We've got a nice blend of youthful and inexperienced up-and-coming talent alongside the veterans at this level that really know what it takes to perform in the Championship, and I think that is going to be key to guiding us through the rest of this season. We think he's fantastic, and I think that is a pretty commonly and widely shared view across Portsmouth and Pompey fans. He's come in within 15, 16 months of the job and delivered us the ultimate success for the level we were at. He has given the people of the city of Portsmouth and the surrounding area something to shout about again, which is something we were completely devoid of for such a long time. Yes, we've had a tricky start under him, but I think that was probably expected given the run that we had been given on paper. I'm sure the results will come. We'll adopt a relatively routine 4-2-3-1. We've been doing that all season, even sometimes when we've had to play. We've played strikers as wingers, we've played right backs as centre backs, and always kind of fitted into that orthodox 4-2-3-1 depending on the personnel available. So that's what I'd expect for your trip to Fratton Park. Josh Murphy and Paddy Lane will cause problems down the left wing and right wing respectively, and the close control, the sheer brute strength and ball retention ability of Christian Sadie is a real USP of ours. We've conceded goals in, at the time of recording, all but 6 of the 6 league games we've played so far, so I'd say defensively that's the outstanding weakness. Although as I say that, and to play devil's advocate on myself, I suppose we've been playing at some points, 3rd and 5th choice centre-back pairings, so not too many issues there. I'd like to think it will be 2 sides that want to play football, and therefore it will make for a really tasty encounter. Sold out away end, it will be a sold out home atmosphere as well, and 2 sets of supporters which their club means absolutely everything to them, and it's the absolute highlight of their week to go and watch their team at the weekend. So I think it makes for quite the occasion. By and large, we've been in all the games that we've been involved in. We want to play with the ball and we want to compete, and we'll do our very best to do that against you, but I think that's going to be quite the tough ask. I think you're a magnificent side, and if you were to ask me to pick out any Championship player that's not a Pompey player to be my favourite, one of them would probably be Callum O'Hare. I love his ability to win the ball from deep, and so many times already this season you've capitalised on that. And I would also say I don't know how Gustavo Hamer is playing in the Championship, with no disrespect to you. I think he's an absolute diamond of a player. I think I'm going to be realistic given the start we've had. I think a point is about all we can maybe anticipate and expect from this. I'm going to go for an exciting 2-2 draw. Just search a fauna written all over it, pretty much anywhere. I'm sure you'll find us. I think the Blades will be fighting right at the top end. I'd anticipate at least top 6, top 7. I would think on the other side and the flip side of the coin, we will be bottom 6 or 7 teams in the Championship, but I'm still confident we're going to survive.
Thank you to Tom, and we're back on the main camera. It may well cut out, but you know, it's how the ramble rolls, isn't it? So, thank you to Tom. I'm feeling pretty confident, I have to say. Certainly that we'll turn up, and I'm not expecting us to lose our unbeaten record this weekend. If I had to be pushed, I'd probably say 1-0, because I'd be happy with that. Smash and grab, Kiefer Moore off his backside. I'd love it. I'd love it. But let me know your predictions as well. And just as we wrap up, I'll just get the final comments in. So Michael says, Jimmy, would you accept promotion knowing that the Blades may have the same season in the Premier League as last time the Blades were there? If you told me that we'd have exactly the same season and that was the deal, then obviously no. I wouldn't want us to get promoted. But I honestly don't think. I think this is Blades 2.0. And I think we've got younger, hungrier players, and that's nothing against the previous class because they were absolute legends of the club, a lot of them. But I think we can go again now and build upon what we've already got if we were to get promoted. And I fancy us to give it a real good go this season. David says, I'm going to be honest, got a relative who has been saying, Hamer ain't no player. Look at his shape today. He's just seen his free kick. Oh, my God, what a player. Absolutely. He doesn't necessarily look like a brilliant footballer, but certainly for us, he's great. Absolutely brilliant. No change needed. 0-2, says GT. Hopefully Blaster will be a short-term injury, but I fear it may be a bit more serious. I don't think it's serious, but I don't think we'll see him before international break. Only change for me is Brooks for Raksaki, says Rye. I've voted Jimmy on all my browsers. Thank you, David. Very much appreciated. I'll be in. Good stuff. Jersey at the zoo Saturday. Oh, you'll be in Jersey at the zoo on Saturday. Right, fair dues. Hope you had a good time, pal. Mr. V, buy yourself a pint or two and keep up the great... Thank you, my friend. Thank you, mate. That's very much appreciated. Already a huge contributor to the channel. Platinum Rambler has donated 2 super chats. Thank you, Mr. V. That's very kind. Very much appreciated. Evening, Jim, says Jack. A bit late. Brooks and Sariki deserve a start on Saturday. Definitely Brooks. Like how they both came on and were so positive going forward. I agree. I think Brooks leaves you... I think Sariki, leaves you a little bit vulnerable when he's bursting forward because, well, I suppose Burrows does a similar job on the left-hand side, but I don't think Gilchrist's really put a foot wrong for us either. I think he's got better and better as games have gone on. It's more, my concern with Gilchrist is his ability to last a full game. So hopefully he can and puts all them worries out of my mind. But yeah, Sariki's done really well when he's been called upon. Coming out of the woodwork to have a go at our club, sticking the knife into the Prince. Oh, the Blades. Who's that then, Pete? Is that a few that you've seen online and stuff? Yeah, it's going to happen with every club's got them, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I think it's better the devil you know in it, personally. David, Wuzzy, thank you, pal. Very generous, and it's certainly not expected or anything like that. But thank you very much for your generous super chat saying great work, Jimmy. Thank you, mate. And yes, I would offer Brewster a new deal, says Tim, but maybe not on the same wages. Not that I know what he's on. He's on a good wage. I would agree with you, Tim, that anything would have to be reduced because I don't think he's necessarily earned a great contract. But I would lean towards giving him a new one, personally. Same team for me. Jimmy says, Danny, Raksaki's going to come good. Needs a goal to push on, pal. Evening, Jimmy, says Tom. From what I've heard, one of the original investors has pulled and they are looking for a replacement. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Tom. Andy Giddins poured cold water on that, though, didn't he? That the consortium aren't looking for any further investment, and talks are continuing. I'm hoping we bag some goals, says Jack. I think it's time they start creating more chances and taking them. Absolutely right. Evening, Bry. PA, fellow Ramblers. Brooks should start for me, but no worries if he doesn't. Confidence is growing by the week. 1-0 to the Blades. Vote gone in. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and so. Thank you, Bry. Another one of our top platinum Ramblers. Who's the weak link for the Rams? Oh, is that what I said? Oh, did I leave it in? Oh, no. Oh, Ray. Love a good technical glitch, Jimmy. Absolutely right. You might get another one if I can't get through these comments. For some reason, I'm not feeling too confident about this one, says Jack. Well, our luck will run out at some stage. We're not going to go unbeaten for the season, but I'd like to think we can give Pompey a game. Jimmy, I would go for the 11 that finished against Derby. Would you, Neil? Really? So Sariki and Brooks as well. 2-0 Blades. Can't see us letting one in, pal. Been a solid defensive display all season. Michael Cooper. Suter's got to get a deal done for him in January. I don't think we'll get a deal done in January because it's a very expensive. You probably you're talking 8 figures for Harry Suter. He's if we get promoted, let's try and make it a permanent deal. But if we don't, all right. Pompey, see you all on Milton End Saturday. 1-3 to us. Up the Blades. Yeah, okay. I'll be watching from Turkey, says Jack. Chris Wilder was on Epstein Island. Oh, ridiculous. I'd love a Brewster contract. Feels a bit stick or twist, but we may as well double down and pray he comes good. I think so too. Can you stop being a narcissist, please? Fame has gone to your head. All right. Okay. I don't know where that's come from. You're going to get stick like this all the way through, unfortunately. I don't think we'll know who that is or where it's from because they won't put the name to stuff like that. I just want to stay unbeaten away to Pompey. Not easy. I agree. Not easy at all. Wilder's our saviour, says Danny. And that'll be our last comment tonight. Thank you to everybody for all your contributions, all your comments. And I'm going to make a speedy exit before this camera dies. But if you haven't already and you feel like we've earned it, then you can go and vote for the Ramble for best football league podcast. That would be very much appreciated. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades!